Hello everyone, thanks for being here watching my video. Today we are going to talk about relation between East and West through the relation and the introduction in Europe of the Chinese language. As a matter of fact, Chinese language is really different from European ones, and we can ask ourselves, how did European people see Chinese language when it was first introduced? The first introduction of Chinese language in Europe was made by Jesuits, and especially by Matteo Ricci. Through the 17th century, information about Chinese language became more and more accurate. Then, the Chinese language, written and spoken, became an important point of debate during the Age of Enlightenment. Indeed, it revealed some debates about the form of the first language before the story of Babel Tower. As Chinese people and Extreme Orient inhabitants separated from the other civilization before the story of Babel, for John Webb, I quote, Chinese language is the most sweet and smooth language of all others throughout the whole world at this day now. According to him, the absence of r and monosyllabism, among others, show that Chinese language is more likely to be the primary language. It is important to contextualize the situation. At this time, there was a competition in Europe between languages as all speakers claimed their language to be the primary language, and the most perfect one, as it was developed by Maurice Hollander. So, the ideological factor played a huge role in the interpretation of Chinese language. Another analysis and interpretation of Chinese language by European people was the one of Jesuits who had a figurist analysis. According to them, we can consider Chinese language in two ways. First, on the one hand, we can consider Chinese language with a common way, as it was done by Chinese people who are not Christianized and who only use Chinese language in order to speak. On the other hand, we can consider Chinese language with a symbolic way. This means that only Christianized people are able to see signs of Christianism and signs of the existence of elements of the Bible in Chinese characters, while not Christianized people only use Chinese language in order to speak according to Jesuits. So it is a striking example of China mirage. The analysis of Chinese language takes another way during the Age of Enlightenment, as religion wasn't anymore a possible explanation of the origin of Chinese language. Many Enlightenment authors such as Diderot, D'Holbach, Joncourt or d'Alembert criticized Chinese language. For example, according to d'Alembert in his article Caractère in the Encyclopedia, it is astonishing to see that Chinese language doesn't evolve during its existence. During the Age of Enlightenment, another important analysis was the one of de Prémart, who said that Chinese language is a language without grammar. This argument was still used in 1815 by Abel Rémusat during his lesson in the Collège Royal de France. So, it was an argument to consider Chinese language too simple to be perfect, as all evolution goes from simple to complex for Europeans at the time. All these evolutions of Chinese language and of the analysis of Chinese language, as a matter of fact, of Chinese language studies, contributed to the forgetfulness of Chinese spoken language, while authors concentrated their analysis on Chinese written language, according to Vivian Alton, who is one of our principal sources. As we have already saw in the encyclopedia, there are many articles on writing Chinese, but not many on spoken Chinese, and it is symptomatic from the Chinese language studies in Europe during the Age of Enlightenment. The intellectual turnaround was made by von Humboldt, who argued that Chinese is more likely to be a perfect language because grammatical articulation make easier logical ones. In addition, according to von Humboldt, in Chinese, the speakers have to make efforts to structurate their thoughts, and it is the same for the writers who have to think about what he wants to write before writing it, and it is an argument for von Humboldt to say that Chinese language is more perfect than European languages. So, to conclude, we can say that at first time, Jesuits, even Matteo Ricci, had a figurist interpretation of Chinese language, and it is a striking example of China mirage. But the novelty brought by Chinese characters eclipsed the novelty of Chinese language, which is a different system from European languages. Then, thanks to von Humboldt, we have a disruptive analysis which reconciled Chinese spoken language and Chinese written language. According to the theory of von Humboldt, although it is possible that the different structuration of languages in Europe and in China, for instance, could lead to different structuration of thought and of mind in China and in Europe. So, this theory could explain the different evolution between the thought in China and the thought in Europe. To go further, it is possible to study these masterpieces of Arabic writers who combined writing Arabic and writing Chinese in order to make a form of art. It is really interesting because at the same time in Europe, Jesuits want to make European languages superior in their mind to Chinese language, while Arabic writers search only to find a way to conciliate the two forms of writing. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this video and all the topics of this video. You can find all the sources at the end of the video, and feel free to ask any question, to leave any commentary in the commentary section below. Thank you and goodbye.